My mom cheated and abandoned a 2-year-old baby and tried to bribe me not to say anything to my dad, but I told him. Now she has no family left, not even her AP. This situation is really messing with my head. And at this point, my own mother and grandmother are near enough to attempt to bribe me to stay quiet. So I 20 1 of 4 or so I believed until a few days ago. Me, my twin brother Eddie 20M, and 2 older half-siblings, Ruben 24M and Grace 23F. Ruben is my mom's first child, and Grace is my dad's 45 first too. So around 2 years ago, our grandmother on my mom's side had cancer, and my mom went and moved in with her for a while to help and care for her. We didn't see her throughout this whole time, as my grandmother lives halfway across the country. Plus, at the time, I and my brother were busy with last year's school exams, and Ruben was staying with his dad in England, so nobody could go out to visit. Not even dad to see his wife, because he was really busy with work himself. Mom was gone for a total of 6 months, and when she got back, she had changed. She seemed very sad, and would constantly be all over me and my brother. I assumed she just missed us while she was gone. 2 years passed since then, and on a visit home, when doing things around the house, I knocked over my mom's handbag, and everything fell out. Naturally, I cleaned up, but in my mom's wallet, there was a picture sticking out of her with a newborn baby in a hospital bed. I was confused at first and thought maybe it was her with me or one of my brothers as babies, but it was dated from the time she was away with my grandmother. I ended up confronting my mom about it, and she froze at first, but then tried brushing me off and changing the subject, but I wouldn't let her. I wanted to know why she was in a hospital bed with a baby around the time she was gone. Either she told me or I showed dad what I told her. That's when she started crying and told me everything. She had an affair with another man who's not my dad. She started her affair in 2018, got knocked up in 2019, and gave birth early in 2020. I have a baby brother. She had a secret baby, and nobody noticed. My grandma knew and covered for her. She never had cancer, and she just lied about the chemo and surgeries. How could I be so stupid? I'm so angry with her. I asked her about the pregnancy and the other man. It turns out she didn't go to my grandparents' house to have the baby, but just to the other end of town to her AP's house, and she just didn't leave his house. What's worse is that his AP was 24 at the time, with 2 kids already, but at least he was single. She stayed with her AP and his kids while going through her pregnancy, and she left the baby with him. I asked more about this man, looked him up, and I know him. He is the son of a family friend, and I've seen him around town with my baby brother and didn't even know it. I've not been doing well since finding all this out. My mom keeps trying to talk to me, but I either lock her out of the room I'm in or be around my dad, so she can't talk about it. And whenever she does get a chance to talk to me, she does whatever she can to try and keep me quiet. She even tried bribing me with money or shopping trips, and she even got my grandmother to try and guilt trip me. I don't know what to do. Does anyone have any experience with stuff like this? Is there any advice they can give me? Do I reach out to this man and ask about my brother? Do I tell my dad? I don't even know if she's still continuing the affair, or if she's in my brother's life at all. TLDR. My mom had a secret baby 2 years ago with a family friend, and somehow the family didn't notice as my grandmother covered for her. Update. Hello? If you don't know what the issue was, then the story is linked above, or just read the title. So those who DM'd me and friends I have spoken with all told me to tell my dad, and that's what I did. At first, he was in complete and utter denial, and even when I showed him the picture of my mom with my secret baby brother, and used the text my mom and grandmother sent me as proof, I had never seen him cry before ever. Even when my uncle passed away a few years ago, I never saw him tear up. Eventually, my mom came home, and my dad just screamed and shouted at her. It was awful. I showed everything to my brothers and sister, and my half-sister actually got into a physical fight with my mom. I felt so guilty about saying all this. Mom has gone to my grandma's. Neither of my brothers are talking to her, and when it got out who my mom's affair partner was, my mom's friend group kind of disowned her in a way, as he 26 was the son of one of her close friends who already had kids. I wish I could just go back to not knowing about any of this. I don't think my family will ever recover. My older half-brother is in England and is adamant on staying there. My brother is angry with mom and isn't speaking to her either. My dad is just crying and saying he's going to hire a cutthroat lawyer to divorce my mom, and my mom is distraught, blaming me but demanding I talk to her as she doesn't want to lose any more of her children. TLDR. Mom had a secret affair with a baby, and grandma covered for her. Told dad, and everyone has cut mom off. I am feeling a lot of guilt. Comments by OP. You did the right thing. Your father was nothing but a good man, a faithful husband, and a caring dad. What your mom did was downright evil, And the only thing worse than having a secret kid or affair at the edge of town would be somehow tricking your dad into thinking the kid was his and raising it. Actions like that need to be brought to light, and your father needed to know the truth about the woman he thought he knew. Yeah, it caused a rift, but it needed to happen. There's a silver lining at least. All of your original siblings are grown, so there's no child support to worry about. And after the divorce, she can just hook up with her boy toy and be the mother to his 2 kids and their toddler. She still has a family after all. Apparently that was my mom's original plan. But her AP said he wouldn't let that happen, that he wanted to be in his child's life and would expose their dirty secret. So she just abandoned her child with him. Second story. My cheated ex reached out to me, saying she is pregnant with a P, and he is ozzing her and needs me. I'm looking for helpful advice without judgment, so please hear me out. This is a long post, so I apologize. Me 31M and my ex-wife 29F were married for 7 years and together for 9 before she cheated and left me for the other guy. Our divorce was finalized in March of this year. The other guy is a playboy jerk who's probably 24-ish. It began at the end of last year, and in January of this year, she told me she wanted a divorce. I found out they'd been talking for an entire year before it turned physical last October. Divorce was smooth as we didn't have any kids, she got the car, and I kept my house and finances. After this, I was out of her life, and she was out of mine. We never contacted each other, except for 1 or 2 times. And that too was when we saw each other in public. Her family is very conservative, and they basically cut her off after she cheated and divorced. She moved in with the other guy. During this time, I found out she also lost a lot of friends, as the other guy tried to hit on them or insult them. Her ex set of friends tried to get me involved in their fights, immature AF. But I included this part because these sets of friends were the ones to stand behind her after she had an affair, telling me she found herself, and I should probably let her go. I don't harbor any resentment towards her or the other guy. I didn't get involved with anyone during this period because I was focused on my job and earning back the money I lost on divorce. Here's where I need help. 2 days ago, I got a call from one of my ex-wife's friends who told me my ex-wife wanted my number. I changed it after divorce. She didn't say much when I asked her why and told me she needed to talk. I thought it was important as, mind you, we never had any contacts, so suddenly her wanting to talk to me created a sense of seriousness, for which I told her to give my number. Yesterday, my ex-wife called, and she sounded very creepy for real. She didn't have the voice she used to, but it was broken. You could sense something was wrong. So I asked her what's up, and she broke down crying. I went on from telling how great things were to how things are now. So the other guy is a manipulative and alcoholic boss who cheated on her multiple times in their 7-month relationship and put her in charge of finances, which meant she got a job, and she's pregnant. Now he doesn't want to be the father, so he's telling her she cheated, and he's ozzing her. She has no place to go, and he wants an abortion if she wants to be together. I asked her why she called me instead of the police. She told me she has nowhere else to go. None of her friends are willing to help her out, and that boss has friends in the department, so she's scared if things go around. She can't contact her family because they don't want anything to do with her, so she's alone. Listening to her made me really sad. I told her I could sympathize, but couldn't do anything else because I didn't want to be the third party. I told her whatever relationship we had with each other is over, and she's on her own now. Why should I stand up for her when she's no one to me? Besides, they're a couple now. They're dating, and she's the one earning. She has the upper hand. I gave her advice to save funds and run away silently if she didn't want an abortion. It was a 17-minute call, and she basically wanted to talk more, but I told her I was busy and cut her off. She did mention she was sorry to treat me and leave me. I honestly don't care about that. I told her to contact me only when it's necessary because I really don't want to hear from her anymore. Yesterday night, I gave it a deep thought and felt I should do something because no one deserves this kind of loss. But I don't want to get in between, because getting in between will blow up my own peace. I'm looking for advice on whether I can do anything to help her out. I called her family, and they told me they wanted nothing to do with her because she was already unalive to them. TLDR. My ex-wife cheated and left. Now she calls to let me know she's pregnant, and the other guy is ozzing her. She wants help. Anything I can do? Edit. Guys, I have no intention of getting back together with her, taking her back, or even wanting to help her. I sent her links to the rescue, tried to contact her family, and they told me to cut her off. The only reason I want to help her is because she reached out to me as the last resort, and I don't want to spend my life in regret if anything serious happens to her, knowing I could have helped but chose not to, which is why I made this post. I'm going to send her money via her friend before telling her. This is all I can do, and she shouldn't reach out to me unless it's urgent. Update. This will be my last post on Reddit. It was a thing mess all over, and there's a lot of guilt in my heart now. I will be deleting this account too. I helped her. I passed a few $1,000s to her via her friend and told her she could take care of herself, as I didn't want to be a part of this SHT show. We talked on the phone for 38 minutes on the 14th. She told me how sorry she was and went on to mention the memorable times we spent together. Not once did she tell me she wanted to get back together. I noticed she wasn't begging or asking for help, but rather she told me it's the path she chose, and she knows she can't keep or provide for the child. Neither the other guy would let her keep it, and she doesn't want to abort this. She told me she wanted to talk to her parents one time. They cut her off as it caused a huge debacle, and her naked pics went viral around the area. So her family suffered a lot of humiliation and apologized for the trauma she caused. I told her I hope she gets the happiness she deserves, and told her she needed to get out of this relationship. That's all. In our whole call, I just listened. I didn't want to give her justification or validation. I was just nodding to her. This time, she herself was the one to tell me that I am an amazing guy and deserve better than her, before she voluntarily wanted to hang up. The reason was that she chose to commit self-harm. I found this out the day before yesterday. She shot herself. That other guy was a posse, and had a gun, illegal of course. She just left a note saying it was her path that she chose, and she apologized to everyone she hurt. The police are still investigating. From what I heard, another guy has been taken into custody for possessing an illegal firearm, and is currently on the top suspect list. I'm not in contact with her friends or family. I work in a different city, so I'm not in the town. From what I've heard, her friends are preparing to testify against the other guy. No one from her family or friends reached out to me. I don't know if her family knows, but I don't intend to tell them. I can't sleep right now because of it. There's guilt in my heart. I could have helped her. I could have done something more. I could have done something, but I chose not to get involved, which led her to end herself. I still don't know what more happened, as I heard it from a friend of mine whose relative is a part of the investigating group. I didn't want to make this post, but I needed to get this off my chest. I've thrown up twice and still can't get a grip on myself.